Hello, Amazing Amphros here with part 9 of my The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past Minimalist Run. In this segment, I'm mostly going to be focusing on the first major Dark World dungeon, the Palace of Darkness. And I will show you this fairy, which, if you're in the minority of A Link to the Past players who never found it, will probably find more useful than anything else in this video. But for now, before I delve into talking about the dungeon and its intricacies, the first thing you gotta know is your general plan to approach the Dark World. Unlike with the Light World, you can do the dungeons in the Dark World in a great number of orders. And my preferred minimalist order is 1, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7. This order is good for two main reasons. One is that it gets the most useful dungeon treasures, in my opinion the hookshot and the cane of Samaria, as early as possible. The second benefit, which is just as important, is that it to the greatest extent allowed by the game, it does the easy bosses early and the hard bosses late. The main benefit to that is the fact that you get a heart container after every boss. And unlike most Zelda games, which can be beaten with the starting 3 hearts, in A Link to the Past and Link's Awakening, you're forced to grab the heart container after every boss fight. So if you have a choice of boss orders, you want to do easy ones first, hard ones later, so you have as much health as possible. But for now though, let's turn our attention to the good old Palace of Darkness. The Palace of Darkness is notable because you can do the keys in a great number of orders. You can actually wander around and get lost quite a bit. I'm showing you here the most efficient order to do things. It's the fastest, it's the easiest. It actually skips a key that's way out of the way and guarded by tons of enemies that you really don't want to fight, because that's just an opportunity to take damage, get killed, have to redo things, and no one really wants that. You'll also see that I make a lot of use of the magic mirror as I'm navigating the dungeon. The main benefit to that, of course, is that it lets me avoid needless backtracking, and my use of the magic mirror is actually essential to skipping the key. That locked door that's your path out of the magic hammer area can just be skipped by taking the magic mirror back to the entrance. Now, even if there weren't a locked door there, that'd be faster. But saving a key, it's just too good to be true. Otherwise, you can see just some general combat tips in the Palace of Darkness. For the Helmasaurs, if you have a pot available, throw it at them. Otherwise, face away from them and do a spin attack, which will hit them even though they're rushing at you. I think you were intended to get behind Helmasaurs and stab them in the back. It's not actually a good tactic. It's risky. It takes a lot of time. Later on, a couple of Link's inventory items like the Fire Rod and the Cane of Samaria can just penetrate them completely. But for now, these are the tactics. The turtles, and the jellyfish for that matter, just stay out of their way. Once you have the hammer, you can slam the jellyfish, or you can slam the turtles down and walk right past them if you're allowed. But the jellyfish are killable but a risk. And this collapsing floor room is perhaps the only tricky part of the dungeon. You saw what I did there. I just ran across it as quickly as I could, use the extra time that my dash bought me to spin attack that Helmasaur. There are faster ways to do it, but you're not going to find a safer way than what I just did. And here you'll see me getting a ton of rupees. This actually puts me well over the total I need to finish the game by itself, since I've already spent 110 to get into this dungeon. All I need now is the 500 for the flippers and the 100 in order to buy the super bomb near the end of the game. At 674, that leaves me with 74 extra rupees. And other than buying extra ammo for bombs or arrows, or buying those cheap health refills, which are in no way a bargain. It actually takes more time to buy them than to heal by other means. There's nothing I can do with money, so the surplus doesn't do me any good, though that won't stop me from OCD picking up random rupee drops for the rest of the run. Which, if you find it annoying to see me grabbing something that has quite literally no value to me, sorry, can't help it, old habits die hard. And now that I'm getting to the magic hammer and warping past what would otherwise be a locked door I don't have a key for, all I really have left is to rush to the boss. When you're rushing to the boss, you can be a little riskier right away, but once you move the statue onto the switch, you're past all health drops. The turtles drop mostly rupees and constitute the majority of enemies remaining, other than those guys you kill with the arrows right after the statue, but they only drop arrows. Well, I guess that's not true. They can't drop health, but they mostly drop arrows. So, once you get past this room I'm entering right here, play it safe. You do not want to be hurt going into the Helmasaur King, since if you've never fought him minimalist before, you're going to find fighting him with only 6 hearts to be a bit of a challenge. Even players who aren't playing with these challenge restrictions and tend to have more health usually find Helmasaur King a difficult boss at first, just because you have such a small margin for error. 2 hearts a hit, you have 6 hearts, 3 hits you're dead. Otherwise, there's not really a lot left to discuss in this dungeon before I get to the boss. You just gotta play it safe. And I will say that in terms of raw navigation, the later Dark World dungeons are trickier than this one. But this one still, I think, serves an important role in the challenge, because while this is probably about the 5th or 6th time I've done this, if you're decent at A Link to the Past but never tried this before, I can pretty much guarantee this dungeon is going to see your first death. But as for the boss, your strategy's simple. You want to start the fight by slamming into his mask with the hammer. Yes, you can use bombs. If you're really super clever, you can probably do it faster with bombs, but it's really hard. Just use the hammer. And you want to stay close to him, that way his tail swipes can't get you. But every time you get close to him, do hit him with the hammer unless you see his tail rearing, because he'll randomly walk forward and you don't want to get hit by that. When he shoots the fireballs, they form a triangle. You want to stand at the bottom of the triangle directly below the upper fireball. That way, all the splitting they do will just go right past you. When you eventually get the mask off, the Helmasaur King's movement will become much faster, much more erratic, and he will be willing to charge to the bottom of the arena. Fight him with arrows. Arrows do more damage than your sword in this fight, and you can safely hit him repeatedly with arrows. If you let things go like I did, the Helmasaur King's uncontrolled movement could easily pin you, and I was able to clutch it out because I'd done enough damage before I got stuck in a hopeless situation that I could just wail on the sword and hope I killed him before he killed me, which turned out to work. It might not work for you. Play it safe. And of course, here we have the maiden basically telling us the entire plot of what's going on. All the previous text I've just kind of laughed off, but I really have, because other than the fact that the Master Sword is awesome, none of it really told you anything. Now we know Ganon's whole plan, and we've cleared the dungeon. May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce, and I will see you next time.